there's a trans woman sitting in the audience. This is a true story. This was like a few weeks ago. I did 6 shows that weekend. This trans woman came to 4 of them. Calls herself Daphne. Man, this chick Daphne was in there cracking the fuck up at everything I said about everybody. It was amazing. She was laughing, and it was fun to watch her laugh. You could tell she was letting go with something that was heavy, and she'd throw her head back, and she'd smile with all her teeth. She was having a great time. And the more fun she had, I felt bad, because I knew I had some trans jokes on load. And I thought to myself, maybe I shouldn't say these jokes because I don't want to like fuck her evening up. She's having so much fun. But then I thought to myself, well, if I can't say it in front of her, should I say this shit at all? So I let her rip. To my surprise, Daphne laughed harder at the trans jokes than anybody in the room. In fact, everybody in the room would look at her to make sure it was okay. And I got off stage, I was in the dressing room, I was like, man, this is a fucking weird show. I'm sitting in the dressing room by myself just trying to figure out, like, what the fuck just happened out there? Like, why is it that this one woman can't take any of these jokes and Daphne can take all of these jokes? So weird. And then I realized, Daphne used to be a man. So now I go out of the dressing room and like you can see like all the staff was there like cleaning the club up, the audience had gone, and sitting at the bar by herself was Daphne. And she's like, hey, Dave, come join me for a drink. And I don't want her to think that I'm transphobic or nothing, so I'm like, fuck, I guess I could have at least a drink. And we get some tequila and we're sitting there. And she was fucking cool. Turns out that Daphne, she wants to be a comedian. She was asking me for advice, and I told her advice and all that shit. And then she says to me, she says, boy, you sure do get a bad rap for your trans jokes. I said, Daphne, thank you, but you don't have to say that. I hope I didn't offend you. She goes, no. She said, in fact, I read about you in the New York Times. I said, you did? She said, yeah. She said, I thought it was interesting that they blamed you for R. Kelly. They said you normalized him for telling jokes about him. I go, yeah, they said that. She goes, I wonder why they never said that you normalized transgenders by telling jokes about us. And I'd never thought about that. It never occurred to me. And we started making out. And then, like, I reached up just to see what it felt like. I was like, what? And it felt like pussy, did it? It was just like... What you gonna do if Trump get reelected? What am I gonna do if Trump get reelected? Probably get a significant tax break. Hey, you want to know why I don't even talk about Trump in my show? Because that motherfucker is not the hokey pokey. He is not what it's all about. There's millions of people that put him in power, and the ideas that he puts forth are not his own. He's singing poor white people's greatest hits. So why the fuck would I worry about him and not the other millions? Really, you know who I'm going to vote for next time if things keep going the way it's going is that gay dude. No, Mike Pence. Now, this is the same club, the Punchline. This is 15 years ago, and I had just gotten back from my infamous South Africa trip. And I came to the Punchline just to cheer myself up. It's a safe place where I could tell some jokes. And I find out that this comedian I know, Chris Tucker, who's in all those Rush Hour movies, I find out that Chris is in San Francisco too at some charity event. So I call him, I'm like, yo, I just saw you at some charity event. I said, I'm doing a show at the Punchline. Why don't you come by the club after your event? And he's like, cool, Dave. I thought she was dead, nigga. I'll come by. He says, is it okay if I bring some friends? Because, you know, I'm with a lot of people. I go, man, you Chris Tucker. You can bring whoever the fuck you want. And then I show up to the club late that night. And I walk into the dressing room. And sitting in the dressing room is Gavin Newsom, who at the time was the mayor of San Francisco, but now he's the governor of California. And sitting next to him was Kamala Harris, who at the time was the DA of San Francisco. Now she's the senator from California that's front-running on the Democratic ticket. And sitting next to her was Al Gore. It's fucking weird. And sitting next to Al Gore was the guys from Google, Sergey, and I don't know how to say these. All right. And it was Chris Tucker and Ben Jealous, who at the time was the president of the NAACP, who was all just at this big charity dinner, and Paul Mooney was drinking scotch. And we all was just in there. And, you know, at first I was a little uncomfortable when we started talking, and we all got along really well. Well, at some point, Kamala Harris she says to me, she goes, you know, a friend of mine is announcing his candidacy for president tomorrow. I went to college with him. I'm like, what? I go, Barack Obama? She goes, you've heard of him? I'm like, yo, I just read about this dude. And she goes, yo, yeah, blah, 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 we talking. She goes, you know what? She says, let's call him on the phone. I said, what the fuck? And she picks the phone up and she dials and she's listening like this. And she goes, this is voicemail. And she gives me the phone. She goes, leave him a message. You know, I didn't know what to say. I just said what you say to any black dude that's running for president. You know, stay low, running a zigzag pattern, this kind of shit. And then the last thing I say is, you know what? I said, sir, I really do believe you can do this. Like, man, I'm wishing you luck. Now, next day I wake up and go for coffee at a place called the Embarcadero. It's like an eatery by the sea in San Francisco. And I'm walking to the coffee shop and there's a police line and I can't cross the tape. But then I figure, fuck it, I'm Dave Chappelle, so I go into the thing like this. And the police yoke me. These motherfuckers like tackle me immediately. And I see over the police's shoulder Gavin Newsom. I couldn't remember his name, but I remember the night before I had kept teasing him and saying he looked like Christian Bale, the guy from the Batman movies. So I see him and I can't remember the name, so I'm just like, Batman, help! And he stops, just like, Dave? And then the police see that the mayor knows me, so they all like, oh, sorry about that. And he's like, hey, back up, everybody. And he just picks me up. He's like, I'm really sorry about that. I'm like, I'm fine, don't worry about it. And he's like, listen, I'm here with Prince. Would you like to meet him? I'm like, I know Prince. That's my nigga. And we go around the corner, and it was Prince Charles, the Prince of England. I didn't know the protocol of meeting royalty. You're not supposed to touch him. I dapped him up like a nigga. My nigga. Ah! Hugging him and shit like this, dapping him up. And that nigga was cool too. I was like, it's really fucking weird. And then I was just out there in the upside down, not having no TV show, trying to figure life out. And the election was going on in the background. And this guy, Barack Obama, was picking up steam. This motherfucker was killing it. And I had a chance to go to the last debate on the Democratic ticket, and I went. It's me and Chris Tucker sitting in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. It's the last three candidates. It was Barack Obama, John Edwards, and Hillary Clinton. Now, Obama's a lot taller than Edwards and Clinton, and he had the center podium. And at one point, they're all on stage, and they start fussing, and Obama goes, look, none of us are perfect, like this. And his hands was like this, and there was light shining behind his head, and the other two candidates was looking up at the nigga, and I was sitting in the audience like, this nigga looks like Jesus. And I realized in that moment that I was looking at the next president of the United States. I was certain of it. I couldn't explain it, but I knew what I was seeing. And I got really excited. And I'm not that kind of guy. I said, I gotta meet this motherfucker. So I stayed. They were all on stage doing interviews, and I just waited. I was waiting and waiting, and then John Edwards was done with his interviews first, because everybody knew he wasn't going to win. And I see John Edwards, and I said, hey, Senator Edwards, I just want to say hi. And that motherfucker looked at me like, I'm like, fuck you, nigga, you gonna lose anyway. And then he left, and then Hillary Clinton just walked by me in one of them Steve Harvey suits. But Obama was taking forever. Everybody wanted to talk to him. When I knew the media saw exactly what I saw, there was no question about it. That was the guy. I waited, and finally, must have been over an hour and a half, he finishes his last interview. He's like, well, thank you very much. Good talking to you. And he turns around, and we make eye contact. He sees me. And when he sees me, he looks over, he goes, Dave Chappelle. And Obama did me the same way I did Prince Charles. He tapped me up, and he like bro hugged me, and he pulled me in, and I'll never forget this. He said in my ear, I got your message. Thank you very much, New York City. Good night. You know, this might come as a surprise to many of you. I didn't prepare a speech. But that's not because I didn't care. In fact, it's because I cared so much. If you could imagine sitting down and trying to write something about someone that you feel so much about, the way I feel about John, it's very difficult. I won this prize 2 years ago, and I'm imagining, John, that this is a surreal experience. I imagine you probably didn't even give a till last night. And then last night, you saw all your friends gathering, you saw everyone dressed nice, and you realized he was still alive to see this. It's like getting a preview to your funeral. In our line of work, context is everything. And me and John have a very unlikely friendship. The context of that friendship happened in a comedy club in New York City. John being 10 years my senior. I was 17. The first time I saw Jon Stewart, right before he walked in the door, I heard two waitresses at the club talking about how handsome he was. And then they go, oh my God, there he goes. And I looked over and I said, hey, he's all right.
So what happened was at night, I would go to the Comedy Cellar and they'd put me on as the last guy every night.
There's 6 billion people in the world. You can't make 6 billion anything without some of them being very up. Open up a bag of potato chips. What are there, 40 in there? At least 5 of them are burnt and bent over. And
it's the slot that they give someone that for some reason they think, let's just see what happens to this guy.
The thing I remember, being 17 in an adult world trying to make something of myself, is how kind he was. People like John made me feel safer. He's a friendly guy. Now, the early part of any comedian's career is embarrassing in hindsight because so many of us imitate our influences or try on different personalities to see what works. But John he's been the same since the very first time I met him. Nice and present. In 1999, he got The Daily Show. That show languished for 3 years before he got it. No disrespect to Craig Kilburn, but you know what I mean? Yuck. It was like the body of the show was there, but when John got the show, it had a soul. It made people take notice. And in 2002, suddenly, somehow, he became the most popular news show on television. Actually, I know how. He had a good lead-in, Chappelle Show. And in that context, it was post 9/11. My career was the first time that I can really remember that there was a stove too hot to touch. No comedian was allowed to talk about the war or Janet Jackson's titty coming out the Super Bowl. You remember that? You remember that memo that went around? As we've all learned in our lives, wartime is crazy in America. They do what Noam Chomsky called manufacture consent, and the news was off the chain. And John was the only voice that helped people decipher that madness. It was a really remarkable thing to watch.
We told you that it wasn't going to go so well. Yes, we called it shock and awe, but we meant that in the way of you'll be shocked at how it doesn't go so well. And that will make you say, oh.
He's been a great friend to me. I'm not here because I love Jon Stewart. I'm here because he loves me. Because there's never been a time that I called on him and asked him for his help that he wasn't the first responder. When it was half-baked and I was doing my first movie and I needed a celebrity lift, John was the first one to say, I'll do it. I don't even know if you smoke weed. You seem like a coke guy. The city close to where I live, Dayton, Ohio, had a terrible mass shooting. 9 people were killed, and I called my friends, and they all pulled up. But John, you were the first one that said, I'll be there. And just days after that massacre, we took that neighborhood and made a much better memory for them. They saw love and support from voices that they trust. When we were on Comedy Central, I picked the brand of irreverence. I said, I'll touch everything they say I can't touch. But John's voice became one that was synonymous with trust. And he left right before the Trump administration, the most cynical time in American politics. The time when nobody trusts our media, where a guy like Donald Trump can just say fake news and he say, I just believe this orange-haired guy. And we miss you very much. During the pandemic, when my town was dying and I needed to help raise money to get the economy of the town straight, John was the first responder. He was terrified of COVID and he got on a plane anyway after his friends had died and he lost loved ones. He had the courage to get on a plane. He came out and met me and we did shows that whole weekend. And every comic who came out there had been off for at least 100 nights. They were all nervous and they were all scared, except for John. John did 25 minutes off the rip because he had something to say, because he actually means what he says, because he actually thinks about what he says. A lot of comics will take this John for granted. The younger comics, they do what I call wokes. They're not jokes. They don't know the difference between a good point and a good joke. John is very true to the muse. He takes a good point and he makes a good joke of it. John is a miracle to watch you work. You are a cure to what ails our culture. You are a voice that people consistently trust. I wish that you'd run for president. But I imagine that would be hard for a coke guy to do. When you started your career, you never imagined that you would reach a point like this. And the Mark Twain Prize might feel like a finish line or an end to a movie. It is not. It is a starter gun. You were still young. You were still strong. You were still funny. And I do not have the words to say in front of these people how much I love you and how much I respect you. But just know, whenever you call on me, I will come. Because you have been one of the greatest friends that I've made in 35 years. Congratulations. I'm honored that you got this award. Thank you. I'm sorry I got it before you, but I'm your lucky lead-in. Jon Stewart, ladies and gentlemen.
I can't thank you enough.
I love you, my man. Thank you. I love you too. Every cent of that $12,000 ticket done it. That's fantastic. Well, it's a pleasure to be here at the Illuminati bake sale or wherever this thing is that I'm at. I gotta tell you, I was nervous. Hey, how you doing? You know, it's funny when you see a black person in a room like that, and you're like, oh, she owns BET. I normally don't do benefits. Not because I don't care, but because the crowds are historically stuffy. I don't like being judged. I love you, bro. In a very impersonal way, I should add. I can't even see who said that. I haven't been back in New York in a while, especially for something like this. I was here years ago. And it was one of those times my wife was mad at me because I had said something terrible. These things happen in a marriage. We always say the meanest things to the people we love the most. And it's not that we mean them, it's just that we know that these people love us and they'll let us say these things. And it makes us feel better. So this particular time I was in town for a protest. It was during Occupy Wall Street. I wasn't here for Occupy Wall Street, I was here for a lesser known protest called Occupy Luxury Suite. It was day 6. I was bored, it was late in the afternoon, so I figured maybe I'd call some of my friends in New York and tell them I was in town, have a nice lunch. And I did. I called them up, we had made plans, and then I went outside to catch a cab. And that's when reality set in. I'm still black in America. It was 4 o'clock, it was hot. You know how New York gets in the summer when it's hot, it was that sweltering, do the right thing heat. And I'm standing out there trying to catch a cab, and I can't catch a cab to save my life. But then I remembered I was staying at a luxury suite, and there's a guy there that's supposed to help me out. So I go to him and I say, sir, I'm having a very difficult time catching a cab, and I'm against the hotel. And he said, Mr. Chappelle, absolutely. Why don't you wait in the bushes and we'll get a cab for you. And I said, that's a great idea. So I hide in the bushes and I'm waiting for this guy to catch a cab, and it's taking him a long time too. And while I'm waiting, I see a homeless guy. I'm assuming he's homeless. He looked disheveled, and he was digging in the trash, but very deliberately, not an idle sifting. This guy was on a mission. He was digging in the trash real hard, and I was staring at him, not in a judgmental way. I was just looking at him like, damn, this guy's really digging in the trash. And as I said it, it was as if he heard me. And he looked directly at me while I was hiding in the bushes. And then he started walking directly towards me. And as he got closer, I could see that he recognized me. I could see him put my name together. Oh, not Chris. And as he got closer, on his face I saw hope and desperation. When he got real close, I couldn't take it anymore. It was too intimate. I screamed at him. I jumped out of the bushes. I said, don't come any closer. And he said, I just need some. I said, don't even finish that sentence. Get away from me. You stink. You stink, I said. And he looked at me and I saw fury in his eyes. And then I saw hurt. And then I saw resignation, like he remembered something. And then his eyes just drifted slowly down to his own tattered shoes. And instantly, when I saw that, I felt so much better. Just then my cab came and I jumped in my cab. I went uptown to a restaurant called Italy. It was fantastic. I highly recommend it. They serve huge portions. I couldn't even finish my lunch. And they comped my lunch. And then I was uptown, so I figured I'd do some shopping. And I did some shopping uptown. And then there I was at Columbus Circle, trying to catch a cab downtown. And again, racism reared its ugly head. I couldn't catch a cab downtown. And then I remembered, holy shit, I have $5 in cash on me. So I went across the street to Central Park South and I caught a horse and buggy all the way from Central Park South back downtown to the village. It was beautiful. By this time, the sun was setting and there was that orangish, purplish glow in the sky, and I had a blanket over my lap, concealing an erection that I had for absolutely no reason. It turned out to be a wonderful day. But I got back to the hotel, and I guess who was across the street? The same homeless guy that I had seen earlier. And to be honest with you, the sight of him disgusted me. I ran through the hotel door, and the only thing that stopped me was I saw my own reflection in the glass. There I was, spaghetti sauce on my face from my expensive lunch, arms filled with shopping bags, and I must have Medusa'd myself because I stood there for a very long time. And then, the story's going nowhere, but the guy that helped me earlier saw me and he said, Mr. Chappelle, are you okay? Do you need some help with your bags? And I said, no, I don't. I need you to just keep an eye on me because I have to go across the street and take care of something. And I ran across the street to that homeless guy that I'd seen earlier. And as soon as he saw me, he was mad. He said, I said, look, man, I'm sorry. That's why I came over here. I just wanted to let you know that it was wrong for me to say that. And to be honest with you, I couldn't even smell you when I said it. I didn't know that you stunk, but you do stink now that I'm close. And I just wanted to let you know that I was wrong and I'm sorry. And his eyes softened. Now I couldn't see any anger or anything. Matter of fact, I couldn't even read his expression. He just looked at me for a long time. It made me very uncomfortable. They said, you know, deep down I think I'm around this area. Because I was hoping that I would run into you. I was going to punch you in the stomach. It takes a real man to know when he's wrong. It takes a bigger man than that to admit that he's wrong. And you coming over here and apologizing to me. He said, that's no little thing, young man. And I accept the apology. And I said, well, thank you very much, sir. And I don't mean this in a bad way, but I had a wonderful day today. I said, it was a beautiful day. And the only time I felt bad all day is when I thought about you. And he said, that's fucked up. I said, I know. But I did think about you when I was shopping, and I bought you something in case I might have saw you. He said, you bought something for me? I said, yes, I did. And I set all my shopping bags down, and he went up to that shopping bag, and he looked in there, he said, oh my God. I said, not that one, motherfucker, this one's for me. And I handed him a Macy's bag. He said, oh my God, is this for me? I said, it's for you, go ahead, look. He said, this is a brand new lime green velour Sean John sweatsuit. I said, yeah, same shit Puffy wears. And he said, man, thanks, young man. And he started to put it on right there on the street. I said, wait a minute, that's not all. Look in the pocket. They looked in the pocket, and he was like, is this a, I said, that's right. A marijuana cigarette? I said, yes, that's right. He said, I have not smoked marijuana since Vietnam without smoking, if you smoke it with me. I said, well, I hadn't planned on putting my lips on the same joint as you. Sure, why not? I'll light it first. And I lit the joint. We literally sat there on the dumpster right there in Soho. Smoked weed. Me and this homeless dude. He had on that lime green sweatsuit. Kind of looked like Oscar the Grouch, as the son was saying. I know you guys are mad right now, but the point is this. We are all incredibly privileged people. And you know, I was the first guy on television to ever say, give Donald Trump a chance. I know, I fucked up. I shouldn't have said that. Huge mistake on my part. It's going worse than I ever dreamed it would go. It really is going bad. I think he's in trouble. I think, like, I'm worried about his well-being as a dude. He doesn't seem like he's... The guy held a press conference where he asked the media to stop finding shit out. He said, no. I don't think that's going to work. You ever see that press conference? You don't know how scary the things that I see in my briefings are. I don't think you're supposed to tell us that, sir. Tell us that shit is scary. Who does that? Even as a parent, do you do that? So the kid said, hey, little man, look, I'm 3 months behind on the rent, and I'm worried this month. I don't know if it's gonna work out. Go to school and have a productive day. I don't know. Maybe the last few more months. Every day when you wake up, you never know what he's going to be next. Donald Trump. He's exciting like you thought a black president would have been. He's action-packed in a way we never dreamed the president would be action-packed.
That's great.
It is a great mission. Donald Trump said we should not let any Muslims into the United States until we can figure out what's going on. And I think that's way out of step with the way people feel in America. Am I wrong on that, or was it me? I think you guys are not a good gauge of how people actually feel. You're largely rich white New Yorkers. You didn't even know he was going to win in the first place. I'm the Jane Goodall of white people. I live amongst poor whites. I study them. And I have no problem with any white person, but the poor whites are my least favorite. A lot of trouble from them. But I knew he was going to win. And I just felt like he was out of step. Like, I feel like most Americans believe that we respect each other's beliefs, whether we share those beliefs or not. I know I feel like that. Even out there in Ohio, it's like that. I respect everybody's beliefs, except for whatever Amish people believe. I can't stand seeing them. See, I took a long pause because I meant that shit. I don't respect those beliefs. I was driving down the street and I stopped my Porsche whenever I see them horse and buggies. All the Amish people know me, not from television, just because I stop every time I see them. Ezekiel. He says, get away from me, E. Ezekiel, come on, bro. Are you sure? You sure God doesn't want you to have any of this technology? He said, you tried to tempt me like the devil. Devil! I'm trying to put you onto the game. I just went 30 miles in 25 minutes. It's a big world, Ezekiel. You don't even know what the weather's gonna be tomorrow, do you? You don't even know there's a valuable Pokemon on your shoulder. I mean, don't let any more Muslims in the country till we figure out what's going on. I already know what's going on. It's like 17 mass shootings in the United States. 4 of them were done from Muslims. 7 countries that are banned have none of those 4 people from them. The other 13 shootings was done by crazy white people. And you don't see us banning white people from benefits to keep the rest of the audience safe. Not only is it wrong, it would be catastrophic to the Robin Hood Foundation's bottom line. There were no white people here, we'd only raise $300, maybe $400 tonight. That's not we all need each other. Is he going to get impeached? Trump? No, I don't want that enthusiastic hooray. I want somebody, I know there's a guy in this room somewhere that's like, yes, he is David. And I'm like, yes, he is. His wife still lives in New York, doesn't she? Nobody wants, you guys probably know in person. I forgot where I was going to start about that. I'll just Google the shit when I get on stage. Hey, how are you, man? You look great, by the way. They asked me to come here for 15 minutes. Sure, they regret it. I am the other Westmore. I read that. The other Westmore. I know Westmore's in here somewhere. Congratulations, West. Every time I see you, I'm impressed beyond my wildest dreams. Never met West personally, but I'm definitely impressed. You know, because I know West. Is that you? Hey, man, it's very good to meet you.
Don't forget who I am. Don't forget what I am. I am a black dude. And don't ever forget how I got here. My ancestors were kidnapped. I don't even know where the fuck I'm from. They were put on the bottom of boats. They sailed them across the Atlantic. Many of them died. Only the strongest survived. And once they got here, they beat the humanity out of my people. They turned us into beasts of burdens. They made us do their work. And the irony is, hundreds of years later, they called us lazy. We fought in the Civil War. We damn near freed ourselves. And then in Reconstruction, black people did great. My great-grandfather was a very wealthy man. But then the black codes came. Jim Crow came. There was 100 years of unspeakable oppression again. Lynchings, all kinds of terroristic acts to keep us in the margins of society. And yet we still fought. And Dr. King was born. And then things got better. 20 years after Dr. King was assassinated, Michael Jackson was moonwalking on television. Something, something, something. Barack Obama. Donald Trump, and now here we all are. 400-year nightmare. Took us 400 years to figure out as a people that white people's weakness the whole time was kneeling during their national anthem. That's a brittle spirit. That's right, nigga. On the rock, it's regular. Ah! Ah! What are you doing, nigga? Stand up! The Vice President of the United States got involved. Mike Pence got involved. He went to the game himself. These niggers will have to stand when they see me. And all them football players looked up in the stands and saw Mike Pence and said, Mike Pence, come on, y'all. Wu-Tang. Bow! Oh! Foiled. Brittle spirit. I could kill every white person in America at one time. You know how I'd do it? I would just wait for the Super Bowl. And right when they sang the national anthem, I'd have O.J. Simpson walk to the 50-yard line with them bad knees. You know, what the hell's he doing here? Oh, I know what he's going to do. Stop him! I just want to help. I want to be a good guy. Like, I can't even say the word Me Too anymore. The nigga tonight was like, Dave, I'm going to the comedy club. I was like, I am also going to the comedy club. And I didn't even know it was happening, but I guess I became like a feminist in the last 3 weeks because I can't watch porn the same. Like, I watch it sometimes, but I can't click on these motherfucking thumbnails, not with those titles. Guy crams young girl in the ass with hard right. I can't click on that. Come on, nigga, give me something I can click on. Dude gets sucked off by a midget. Little person, I say to myself. It takes me hours to find one clip. What the hell is this? Marginally groomed feminist enjoys consensual sex with vaguely homosexual guy with penis the same color as mine. Click. There's a lot of black dudes haven't been getting Me Too. I don't want to jinx myself. You know why, though? Obviously, black women go through the same thing, right? The reason is because black women from slavery won't tell on us. Because they know that no matter how bad we black dudes are, white dudes are very mean. They're scared to see us get punished. My wife is Asian. She'd tell on me in a goddamn second. Ain't no fucking up in the Chappelle household. And the wildest shit about it is I live in Trump country. I live amongst the tiki torch whites, poor white people. And I'm rich. If it's ever pitchfork time, nigga, I'm in a lot of trouble. And nobody in my family believes me. I've been trying to tell the kids, man, we gotta run these drills. They're like, we don't want to run your stupid drills. Too bad, son, you have to. Tiki Torch Whites come upside, what are you guys supposed to do? Come on, Dad, what are you guys supposed to do? Oh, squint our eyes and stand next to Mom. That's right. Me, your gun and your groundskeeper uniform. That's right. I'll go outside and see what they want. It is wild, bro. Where you from, man? Where you from?
New York.
You from, what, Manhattan?
Brooklyn.
You are from Brooklyn, aren't you? You look like you can rob somebody with a hammer. Brooklyn niggas rob you with shit they find around the house. I just got stabbed with a toothbrush. This nigga must be from Brooklyn. You gotta man the fuck up, y'all. I don't mean to be disrespectful, because, man, I know you're upset what I said, but, you know, I know you're right, but come on, baby, it's me. I was right once. Remember that? Does anybody remember when I was, like, missing from show business for 12 years? Remember when I had, like, this really popular show and I quit? I remember I walked away from $50 million. A lot harder than walking away from Louis' freckled dick. I didn't know that I'd ever work again. And yet here I am tonight. Did my dream die? No. I remember that shit. You don't remember that when I quit my show? Remember, when on the way out the door, I said, something's wrong in Hollywood. I believe they said I smoked crack. That's what I remember. Remember, they called me crazy. So really, you know, you're right, ladies. Congratulations. Enjoy it. And they're coming for you, bitches. They're coming for you. There's one person that's uncomfortable. You know who's the most uncomfortable motherfucker in the room? The nigga that's right. I was just walking around like Tom Cruise at the movies, just looking. And ruin the whole orgy by accident. It's easier to ruin an orgy than you think. All you gotta do is wait for it to get kind of quiet and then go, ew. I know I feel bad. But I just feel like this is all happening for a reason. And ladies, I want you to win this fight. 10 years ago, I might have been scared, but, you know, I got a daughter now, so if you win, she wins. So I'm rooting for you. And I agree with you. At least ideologically, I do. I don't know if you're doing it just right, but I mean, who am I to say? I don't think you're wrong. I just think that you can't make a lasting peace this way. You got all the bad, but the minute they're not scared anymore, it will get worse than it was before. Fear does not make lasting peace. Ask black people. And that's what it is. What this city really needs, without irony, I'll say this, the cure for LA is in South Africa. You motherfuckers need truth and reconciliation with one another. Because the end of apartheid should have been a fucking bloodbath by any metric in human history, and it wasn't. And the only reason it wasn't is because Desmond Tutu and Mandela and all these guys figured out that if a system is corrupt, then the people who adhere to the system and are incentivized by that system are not criminals. They are victims. And that the system itself must be tried. But because the how systems work is so compartmentalized as far as information, the only way we can figure out what the system is if everybody says what they did. Tell them how you participated. Because men want to help, they're just scared. Because Ben Affleck tried to help. Hey, what happened to these ladies is disgusting. Oh, nigga, you grabbed a titty in 95. All right, fellas, I'm out. Fuck that, I ain't helping. You know, when I was growing up, I was probably about 8 years old. And at the time, we were living in Silver Spring. Yeah. Yes. Common misconception about me in D.C. A lot of people think I'm from the hood. That's not true. But I never bothered to correct anybody because I wanted the streets to embrace me. As a matter of fact, I kept it up as a ruse. Like sometimes I'll hang out with rappers like Nas and them, and these motherfuckers will start talking about the projects. Yo, it was wild in the PJs, yo. And I'll be like, word, nigga, word. But I don't know. I have no idea. My parents did just well enough so that I could grow up poor around white people. And to be honest, when Nas and them talk about the projects, nigga, I used to get jealous because it sounded fun. Everybody in the projects was poor, and that's fair. But if you were poor in Silver Spring, nigga, it felt like it was only happening to you. I know the pain of that first sleepover at a white friend's house. And you come back home on Sunday and just look at your parents like, y'all need to step your game up. Everything in Timmy's house works. Remember the first time you saw that? In a cold winter, and you'd be at a white friend's house and see the motherfuckers in their living room without their coats on? Timmy was one of my first white friends, like, in my life, man. He's a good dude, too. He moved to Silver Spring from Utah, of all places. I guess his family was affiliated with that Mormon church they got down there, and me and him used to hang out. And one day I was at his house, we were just hanging out, and Timmy says, Dave, why don't you stay for dinner tonight? I said, oh, man, I'd love to, but I can't. If I'm not home before dark, my mother will kill me. That was a lie. My mother had several jobs. I hadn't seen her in like 3 or 4 days. At that point in my life, it was my experience that white dinner wasn't delicious. I'd rather go home and fry some bologna or some shit like that. But then old Timmy threw me a curveball I wasn't expecting. He said, oh, it's too bad you can't stay, Dave, because Mom made stovetop stuffing. I said, what the fuck? Stovetop? Well, hold on, nigga. Let me make some phone calls real quick. I had seen that commercial so many times, I had dreamt of getting my hands on some of that stovetop stuffing. And finally, I met a motherfucker that actually had a box of stovetop in the house. I couldn't miss this opportunity, so I pretended to call my mother. And then I came back and I said, Timmy, you're not gonna believe this great news. Mom said I can stay. And he said, fantastic. He said, why don't you come with me and we'll help set the table and then we can say the blessing. I had no interest in setting this motherfucker's table or saying these crazy ass Mormon prayers. I just wanted that goddamn stuffing. My hands first. My plan was simple. Wash my hands slowly, and by the time I'm done, the table will be set, the blessing will be said, and all that there will be left to do is eat. Went to the bathroom. I washed my hands very slowly. I must have been in there for about 10 minutes. And suddenly, one of his mothers came to the door. She was like, hi, David, right? I said, yes, ma'am. She said, Timmy tells me that you're planning on staying for dinner.
I said, I hope that's not a problem, ma'am. She says, no, it's no problem. In fact, we'd love to have you. It's just that we weren't expecting company. And I'm afraid there's not enough stovetop stuffing for everybody. So I kicked her in the pussy. Bam! Ladies and gentlemen, I told you I'm dope, nigga. I told you what I was gonna say and you still didn't see it coming. And that's why I make the big bucks. Oh my God. But there's a more important reason that I would stop doing comedy right now. And this reason is the real reason that's been percolating, and it really is the crowd, not you. I'm talking about the crowd on the big stage. It's too hard to entertain a country whose ears are so brittle. Motherfuckers are so sensitive, the whole country is turned into bitch-ass niggas. Everything you say upsets somebody. You know, I can remember when it all started. It was when I was doing Chappelle's show. When I was doing Chappelle's show, I used to do the show, and then on the weekends I do like concerts and shit like that. So I'm doing a concert, and there was a couple in the front row, beautiful couple. The wife was obviously Asian. You could see it in her face. The husband, this motherfucker was mysterious, to say the least. Couldn't quite pinpoint where he was from. Caramel-colored fella, very nice hair, but he could have been from anywhere. Bangladesh, Mexico. I can't guess with a nigga like this. All I knew for sure about this guy is that his wife was a bitch. I could see that in her face, too. No, he was laughing and having a good time, and she was scowling at me at a goddamn comedy show. I couldn't figure it out. And then I realized at some point that she was pregnant, and I was smoking on stage. I said, oh my God, that's probably why she's mad. So I started to put my cigarette out, but then she hit me with one of them fake non-smoker calls. So I just kept smoking. I thought to myself, bitch, that babe will be fine, relax. And I tried to break the tension. I just asked her. That's all I said. I go, hey, where are you guys from anyway? And I could tell that she was on to me. She goes, very condescendingly, she says, I'm from California. If you're asking my ethnicity, I am Chinese. He was like, I'm Mexican, bro. I said, well, I'm sorry if I offended you by asking, but you're a very beautiful couple. And miss, there's no question that you're going to give birth to the hardest working baby this world has ever seen. That's not a bad joke. She got very upset. She got up to leave immediately, but she didn't just leave. She had to take one last dig at me on the way out. I will never buy one of your fucking DVDs again, Dave Chappelle. I said, ma'am, with all due respect, Chinese people don't buy DVDs. And the crowd went crazy. We were all laughing, having a good time. I didn't even think anything of it. And then just 3 days later, this lady sends a fucking letter to my promoter telling him not to book me for shows anymore because I was, quote, racist, and I'm quoting her, insensitive to the nature of my interracial marriage. I was like, word, bitch, I was. If she would know that I myself am in an interracial marriage. That's right. In fact, my wife is Asian too. Surprise, bitch, I'll see you on Thanksgiving. But my wife's not Chinese. She's Filipino. That's right. And our kids are Puerto Rican somehow, so there you go. But I don't give a fuck about interracial marriage. In fact, you know what? My mother is half white. A lot of people don't know that. Well, all right, you were a little too excited, but okay. A lot of people don't believe me when I say that, but it's true. You can't tell looking at me, but if I grew my hair out, you would think you was at a fucking Cat Williams concert. My shit is beautiful.
I don't deal with jails. Don't deal with jails, and I don't deal with police. My house got robbed in New York. I didn't even call the police. I wanted to, but I couldn't. My crib is too nice. It's not that it's too nice, but it's too nice for me. You know how the police are in New York. Soon as I open the door, they'll be like, oh, he's still here. Open and shut case, Johnson. Apparently, this black guy broke in and hung up pictures of his family everywhere. Never seen anything like it. Don't deal with them, man. I had to bail a friend of mine out of jail one time. You know, that was horrible. I was scared. I had to walk right into the belly of the beast. I tried to look as non-threatening as possible. Hi. I'm here to bail out my buddy. Oh, okay. Well, while you're here, you do fit a description. You'll walk this way, we can process you. I'd always get us. Spitting those damn descriptions. Now, I could be bitter and blame all the police, but no. I'll tell you who I blame. It's those sketch artists. They keep drawing the same brother over and over again. Who is this generic man we all look like? I want to know what they say when it's us. You know what I mean? They'd be in that room like, did you get a look? Did you see the guy that tried to rob you? Yes. Yes, I did. He's about 6 feet tall, I'd say. 6 feet tall? Yes. He had his hat on backwards, too. Good. That's good stuff. Hat was on backwards. Yes. He was black? Okay, big lips, big nose, hanging out. Say no more, sir. I'll draw him from memory. You know, let me get my stencil. I think we can trace this guy and save some time. They get on the radio, calling all cars. Be on the lookout for a black male between 4'7" and 6'8". Between 120 and 380 pounds. He's wearing Nikes. Get this man! Criminals are insane. I don't even know why people do crime. They want to catch you, they're going to catch you. They can. They got forensics. You ever seen forensics? Those guys find clues nobody else thinks about looking for. I mean it. You leave a pubic hair anywhere near a crime scene, they're going to find that. What the hell is this? Back up! We got a match. Then they look at the pubes and tell all kinds of information. Looks like there was a struggle. Time of death 307. It's amazing. I saw him get a dude one time on court TV. It was embarrassing. It was a sexual assault case. I knew the defendant was lying. I could feel it. He defended himself too hard. He did. His answers had nothing to do with the questions. They're completely irrelevant. They asked him easy questions. Were you anywhere near the crime scene on the night of the incident? Mother, I told you I worked at Burger King. He was like, That went on for hours. Then the prosecutor got fed up. Said, I've had enough of this. Called the forensics to the stand. Forensics was like, Your Honor, we are prepared to testify that we found the defendant's semen under the stove. I said, God damn. That's worse than fingerprints. They find your semen, you've been there at least a minute. But that's what I want to know. Under the stove? You find semen like that? Or do you look for it? Like, do they walk onto a crime scene like, this place is a mess? Check it for semen. Or do they just like walk in and slip? Oh my God. What the hell was that? Semen! They find it on every crime scene. It's like, what are burglars doing? So we got the stuff, let's get out of here. Wait a minute. I want to leave my calling card. The semen bandit has struck again. I don't understand nothing anymore. I don't. I watched TV the other day. Now tell me, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm crazy. Is it me? Is it me, or do commercials have nothing to do with the products anymore? You dig? I don't even know what a commercial is about until the end. Everyone's a surprise nowadays. You seen that commercial where the lady got the black eye? This lady come on TV with a black eye. She's crying. She's like, I smoke crack. And my husband beats me. And then a voice came on and said, got milk? I said, it has nothing to do with milk. I'm not saying I'm a commercial expert, but I'll make a better milk commercial than that. Just make it nice and simple. I just do a close-up of a titty and put milk right underneath. If that doesn't sell milk, nothing will, boy. I'll tell you that right now. It's 1997. Titties are industry in 1997. They are. I know they are. I'm a customer. I went to a titty bar last week at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Now that's bad. That is bad. Because it wasn't like I was out. Said, let me swing by the titty bar. No, I left my house specifically to see some tits. Can't judge me, there's breast in there. It's just what men do. If a guy runs up to you on the street, it's like, hey, don't go in that building. There are naked girls showing their breast. Be like a white dude in a horror movie. I better investigate. I'm going to want to see for myself. Titty bar's a weird place. I'm not saying it's a good place to hang out. I go there every once and then. But it's a weird place. They got weird morality. One time I walked in titty bars, all these guys coming in, right? Out of all these dudes, the bouncer picked me out the crowd, started yelling at me. Hey, buddy. Sir, you want to take your hat off? Huh? It's disrespectful to the ladies. Yeah, I can shove a 20 up her but I better not have a hat on when I do it. Oh, sorry about that, buddy. Here you go, Bubbles. Forgive me for the hat thing. You know why those bars are so popular now? Is because men don't know how to deal with women in reality. So sometimes we got to take the fantasy road. The reality of the situation is very grim. Women have made a lot of progress in a short period of time, man. It's changed everything. Can't deal in relationships anymore. I broke up with my girl. I'm out of Shawshank. I'm free. I don't want to go back. Couldn't even argue with her. You should be able to argue. If you have an issue in a relationship, you should be able to argue that issue out, right? But see, ladies, you got to stick to the issue. You guys take arguments everywhere just to win them. That's why nothing ever gets done. You be arguing about the dishes, baby. Baby, could you wash your dish at least before you put it in the sink? Premature ejaculator? Damn it. You know, why you gotta bring that up? I don't even believe in that. I don't. If I man, it was right on time. That's the way I see it. And as far as I'm concerned, I can't fast enough. You know, I'm sick of being vilified all the time. David, how could you? How could you? I was. What were you trying to do, huh? Well, I beat you. You gotta work on your time, baby. I'm down to a minute 20. Get mad at me because I have different goals in sex. I'm a speed. Just trying to hit my best time. It's like the Olympics. And now for the dismount.
Hello, xin chào tất cả mọi người. Chào mọi người đã quay trở lại buổi review sản phẩm của em Lan ngày hôm nay. Thì sản phẩm của em Lan đưa đến cho mọi người ngày hôm nay là một gói salad nhé. Một gói salad vị kim chi Hàn Quốc. Ở đây là của nhãn hàng Orion. Đấy, rồi mọi bim bim này thì được các bạn nhỏ rất chi là yêu thích và bày bán thì tất cả trên các cửa hàng tạp hóa này, cửa hàng tạp hóa ở đâu chúng ta cũng có thể mua được những cái dòng bim bim như thế này nhé. Thì hôm nay em đang sẽ giới thiệu cho mọi người đến cái dòng bim bim này để mọi người cùng tham khảo và cùng biết đến. Nhưng là bim bim này là món ăn vặt thì được nhiều người yêu thích đến vậy thì lượng calo của nó là bao nhiêu và chúng ta nên ăn uống như thế nào để chúng ta có một cái sức khỏe tốt nhất nhé. Đây là cái gói bim bim này nhé. Bim bim khoai tây với hương vị khoai tây thơm ngon, giòn tan thì đây là một loại bim bim được nhiều bạn yêu thích. Lượng calo trong mỗi gói bim bim khoai tây salad mà này là oat này có khoảng xấp xỉ 160 calo. Bim bim thông thường, loại bim bim quen thuộc với vị giòn tan, vừa giòn vừa đậm đà. Lượng calo của loại bim bim thông thường này cũng rất thấp, chỉ khoảng xấp xỉ 45 đến 60 calo. Bim bim bí đỏ. Bim bim bí đỏ là loại bim bim vô cùng quen thuộc với tất cả người lớn, trẻ nhỏ. Loại bim bim này xuất hiện khá lâu trên thị trường nhưng vẫn chưa được hạ nhiệt. Được nhiều người yêu thích bởi hương vị thơm ngon, giòn. Gói bim bim bí đỏ gói vừa chứa khoảng 50 calo. Bim bim cay. Đấy, hương vị cay nhẹ, giòn của bim bim cay được cả người lớn và trẻ nhỏ yêu thích. Bim bim cay gói chứa khoảng 47 calo. Bim bim khoai tây oat, đây chính là oat này, là nhãn hiệu khoai tây nổi tiếng với đủ hương vị cho bạn lựa chọn. Bim bim oat khoai tây chứa khoảng 320 calo trên 90 gram. Đấy, một cái gói này của chúng ta là có trọng lượng là 35 gram thì chúng ta cũng phải chia ra được nhé. Bim bim salad phô mai thì trong một gói salad thì thường có lượng calo rất chỉ là nhỏ nha bạn nhé. Bim bim tăm, với những loại bim bim khác thì bim bim tăm có lượng calo khá cao. Ngoài thành phần chính là bột mì thì loại bim bim này có chứa thêm một nguyên liệu khác như là đường, muối, dầu thực vật. Ví dụ như một gói bim bim cánh gà chứa 100g thì có khoảng 163 calo. Salad bí đỏ. Salad phô mai là một trong loại salad thì lượng calo rất cao bạn nhé, khoảng 630 calo cơ. Salad ngô thì loại salad này có mùi thơm mùi ngô, càng ăn càng thèm. Tuy nhiên bạn nên chú ý lượng calo của loại salad này rất cao, khoảng 422 calo. Đấy. Salad bí đỏ, đây là một loại bánh quen thuộc với hầu hết các bạn nhỏ. Hương vị dễ ăn, giòn giòn, với lượng calo trong mỗi bịch bánh này là khoảng 450 calo. Salad cà chua, trong các loại salad thì có lẽ đây là loại salad có lượng calo thấp nhất, đó chính là 400 calo. Ăn salad bim bim thì có béo không? Bim bim salad là một món ăn vặt thú vị và được nhiều người yêu thích. Tuy nhiên thì cũng có rất nhiều người băn khoăn không biết ăn loại bánh này có béo không. Thì đây là câu trả lời cho bạn là ăn bim bim và salad sẽ tăng cân, đặc biệt là salad, vì lượng calo trong loại bánh này rất chi là cao. Chỉ cần một bịch bánh thôi đã đủ lượng calo cần nạp vào cơ thể trong một bữa chính rồi. Nếu bạn ăn đến bịch thứ hai thì hoặc ăn thêm các thực phẩm khác thì sẽ khiến bạn nhanh chóng tăng cân nhé. Bạn sẽ không tăng cân nếu như bạn biết kiểm soát lượng calo. Bạn sẽ không tăng cân nếu như mà chúng ta biết kiểm soát cái lượng calo vào cơ thể. Mỗi bữa ăn chính thì lượng calo cần thiết là vào cơ thể là khoảng 667 calo. Nếu như mỗi bữa ăn bạn ăn một gói bim bim và không ăn thêm một thực phẩm nào khác thì bạn sẽ không có nguy cơ tăng cân. Còn nếu bạn ăn nhiều hơn mức này thì nguy cơ tăng cân của bạn là rất chi là cao. Vì vậy bạn không bị béo khi ăn bim bim salad thì bạn cần kiểm soát lượng bim bim cũng như salad là vào cơ thể. Đang giảm cân thì có nên ăn bim bim và salad không? Thì câu trả lời cũng như ở phía trên rồi. Khi chúng ta biết được cách kiểm soát lượng bim bim salad là vào cơ thể của chúng ta thì với lượng calo thấp hơn thì quy định thì bạn vẫn có thể ăn các loại bánh này nhé. Nhưng nếu bạn ăn nó và ăn thêm nhiều các loại thực phẩm khác nữa, hoặc là ăn nhiều bim bim hay salad thì có thể khiến cơ thể của bạn mất kiểm soát, cân nặng, khiến béo phì. Vì vậy khi bạn ăn thì cần xác định giảm cân thì bạn nên cân nhắc với các loại bim bim này nhé. Ngoài ra thì salad hay bim bim thì thường được chiên qua dầu thực vật hoặc mỡ động vật trước lúc thành phẩm. Thì thành phần còn có cả đường, bột và bột mì và một số chất phụ gia, đều là những thành phần dễ gây tăng cân, khiến bạn khó kiểm soát cân nặng. Đấy. Nguy cơ tác hại của ăn bim bim quá nhiều, salad quá nhiều thì sẽ là nguy cơ mắc bệnh tim mạch và béo phì. Nếu như ăn quá nhiều bim bim, salad thì lượng chất béo hấp thụ vào cơ thể rất lớn. Ngoài ra thì còn có một số thành phần khác như đường, muối và chất phụ gia. Những chất này làm tăng nguy cơ béo phì và dễ mắc các bệnh về tim mạch. Bệnh về đường tiêu hóa, trong bột chiên rán cùng chất béo có nhiều trong bim bim salad chính là nguyên nhân khiến cho trẻ bị đầy bụng, chán ăn và dễ mắc các bệnh về đường tiêu hóa, dẫn đến nguy cơ ung thư. Đấy. Trong một số loại salad bim bim kém chất lượng, không có nhãn mác rõ ràng, có chứa nhiều thành phần chất acrylamine. Chất này xuất hiện khi tinh bột khoai tây được làm nóng ở nhiệt độ 120 độ C. Acrylamine này thì sẽ qua nội tạng chuyển hóa sẽ sản sinh ra glycemic, là một chất làm tăng bệnh ung thư thận, ung thư phổi. Ăn bim bim có bị sưng môi là do đâu? Đấy, một số câu hỏi là chúng ta thường hay gặp. Một số bạn gặp hiện tượng là ăn bim bim bị sưng vù môi lên. Phản ứng này rất nhiều nguyên nhân, và nguyên nhân chủ yếu là bạn dị ứng với một số các thành phần của bim bim. Ngoài ra thì một số bim bim có chứa chất cay cũng có thể làm bạn bị sưng vù lên nhé. Bà bầu ăn bim bim salad có tốt không? Bim bim salad là một món ăn vặt thú vị, nhưng rất nhiều là chất dinh dưỡng. Do vậy thì bà bầu nên tránh ăn bim bim để giảm nguy cơ bị mất cân bằng dinh dưỡng, ảnh hưởng đến sức khỏe của cả mẹ và con. Ăn bim bim salad bị ung thư không? Thì câu trả lời nếu là có, nếu bạn mua và ăn phải những loại bim bim salad độc hại, bẩn, không nhãn mác, sử dụng các chất độc hại hoặc chiên dầu, chiên đi chiên lại, nhiều dầu. Nếu như ăn nhiều bim bim salad kém chất lượng sẽ tạo điều kiện cho các tế bào ung thư có cơ hội phát triển. Thì đấy là những cái mà chúng ta đã tìm hiểu để ăn bim bim thì có hại hay không. Bim bim là một đồ ăn vặt được nhiều người yêu thích bởi vì mùi vị của chúng rất chi là hấp dẫn, giòn, ngon miệng và đa dạng. Tuy nhiên thì bim bim cũng chứa một lượng lớn các các thành phần không tốt cho sức khỏe. Thì chẳng hạn ai cũng đã từng một lần thử qua bim bim, và món ăn vặt quốc dân dành cho mọi lứa tuổi. Mọi người yêu thích bim bim vì giá thành rẻ, hương vị lại độc đáo và hấp dẫn. Tuy nhiên thì không phải ai cũng hiểu rõ những cái thành phần trong gói bim bim. Thì ăn bim bim, trước câu trả lời đấy là ăn bim bim thì có béo không, thì qua tất cả những cái điều chúng ta vừa xem thì ăn bim bim thì có béo và cũng sẽ có hại nếu chúng ta ăn nhiều và mua phải những cái vòng bim bim kém chất lượng. Thế nên là chúng ta hãy lựa chọn kỹ càng khi chúng ta sử dụng bim bim nhé. Bye bye.